Good afternoon and welcome to our third episode of The Scoop. I'm your host, Sarah Stevens. Usually we film live from the studio at Saddleback College located in Mission Viejo. Due to a mandatory statewide shelter-in-place order to decrease the spread of coronavirus, we are bringing you this episode from my home. We have a lot to show you today, including an interview with a couple of filmmakers. There's an organization that brings sustainability to neighborhoods in Orange County. Greg will give us some gardening tips, and there's more to come. 2020 will go down in history as the year the world experienced the pandemic COVID-19. Over 200 countries have been affected so far. I sat down with an expert of COVID-19 who resides right here in Orange County. Dr. Lawrence Mayer, epidemiologist from Harvard, was able to shed some light on the situation. Take a look. The coronavirus disease 2019 is affecting millions of people throughout the world and has killed thousands so far. There is no end in sight. Epidemiologist Dr. Lawrence Mayer, visiting fellow of Harvard and a member of our Orange County community, is studying the situation in the United States.
Epidemiologist like me is a physician with advanced degrees who studies populations in order to get insight into a disease process. I lead a group of about 1,400 epidemiologists and clinicians that are on the front lines of the epidemic in evaluating all scientific papers published about COVID-19.
City life from New York to California has slowed down since people have been isolating. Beaches, parks, and hiking trails are closed due to COVID-19.
The more we isolate ourselves, the more we will decrease the impact of the epidemic here in the United States. So most important is for people to physically isolate, not socially isolated. They should stay together by virtue of telephone, by the internet, any means they can, but not be in close contact with people physically. Part of the problem is we have too limited testing. We need much more testing of people, including people who don't have the epidemic, to have a real handle on the rate at which the epidemic is growing. Well, there are a lot of press saying that young people are not at risk. That's simply not true. It is true that healthy young people do better with the infection, but that's true of any infection. The fact is that we have many young people in the hospital who are seriously ill from COVID-19, and among the deaths, we have quite a few people of college age.
While numbers of infected people continue to rise exponentially worldwide, New York has become the epicenter for the disease COVID-19. During this terrible time, the U.S. government has revealed how unprepared it is in dealing with a public health crisis. As of today, there is still no cure for COVID-19. Organizations all over the world are conducting studies to figure out a way to annihilate the virus. Right now, there are over 700 clinical trials in the world. To follow the clinical trials, go to clinicaltrials.gov and type COVID-19 in the disease search bar. It's springtime and the flowers are blooming all over Orange County. This is the time to start your vegetable garden. Greg Stevenson, who is an avid gardener, showed me a little trick to make gardening easier. Take a look. Hello, I'm Sarah Stevens, and I'm here with Greg Stevenson, who's a gardener, and he's here to show us something really unique that he does with gardening. So please show us.
Thank you. I'd like to show your viewers how to make a self-watering 5-gallon bucket. And this one is already assembled except for the soil and the plants, so you can see on the inside. And if you want to look right in here, you'll see that at the bottom I have an inverted colander, and then this is called a filler tube. We pour water in and it'll come up and it'll fill the bucket down inside the colander. And then if there's too much water, we have these little side tubes here that will overflow, and so you know that you got enough water in the bucket when those go over. So you fill it up, goes in, and then if you see water coming out, you know you got just enough water. Now what's made of is just a piece of PVC pipe, or if you want to do something a little bit cheaper, you can take 2 water bottles and put them together with the bottoms cut off, and that can act as a filler tube in place of this one. Then these two tubes coming out the back. These are just a boba straw that I cut in half. Or you could use another tube about the same size. And then the colander, you can get this for just $1 at a dollar store. Imagine that. Or you can just take a empty milk carton and poke a whole bunch of holes in it, put a hole in it, and then if you wanted to put the filler tube in, like this one here, you can do that real easily. And then you can do this, and that would be pretty much pretty free because that's stuff that would normally be just put in the trash.
So does this help you decide how much water should go in?
That's the wonderful thing about this, is the water wicks up from the bottom into the soil, and it's self-watering. It keeps it at a nice, even moisture level all the time. And there's a reservoir down there, so if you accidentally forget the water or you have to go away on the weekend, perfect. It'll take care of that for you. Just water it before you leave.
That's wonderful because there's so many people who overwater their
Yes.
plants.
Overwatering and underwatering are two most common causes. Now, the other things you're going to need from the garden center is the potting soil. And this potting soil, it won't look like this, but it's in a bag. You want to spend the money on this. It'll cost you between $10 and $20 normally for the potting soil and a plant. And here we have the tomato plant. And normally you're going to buy them like this, but you can see what I did here. It cut off all the different leaves. And when we take this, we're going to put it in the pot. Before you put it in the pot, see how the roots are wrapped around? We're going to just cut like this all the way around. That will loosen up. We'll loosen up the roots a little bit. Then we'll put it down at the bottom before we put the soil in. And then we're going to pack the soil in. We want to wet the soil before it comes in, but you can't make it too wet because if there's any extra water, it's going to go over the side. And then you go all the way up. And tomatoes are unique. You only do this with tomatoes, taking the leaves off. But what it does is they will grow a big root system, so they'll be really happy, really healthy, and give you lots and lots of tomatoes. And if you don't want to do this, you can do it with peppers or cucumbers or whatever, and it all works just beautifully.
When you have this in, do you put this in first and then the soil? Or do
Yes,
you
I didn't assemble it just for speed's sake,
Oh, sure,
but it only takes like a minute to put it together.
Okay.
You can see here, it's there, but I would normally have the tube right there, and it would all work.
And so you do this at home, right?
Yeah, I have a slightly different system. They're in a row just because it's fast. I've got like 50 or 60 of these, like 10 of them are for tomatoes, 10 of them are for peppers, and so on.
Wow. So I have a quick question about tomatoes. Now, do you have to replant them every year?
Yes, it's usually a good idea.
Okay.
They can go longer, but you don't want to.
And then when do you have to plant them, usually? Like can
We
you
wanna
do
go
it now?
They can start right about now. That's a little early, but you want them warmer so that it'll be warm weather, and you want these in a sunny spot as much as possible.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I learned a lot from you today.
Hope you can grow some nice tomatoes.
Me too. Thank you. Not only is Greg an expert in home gardening, he is also a master gardener. A master gardener is a designation awarded to people who complete the Master Gardener program from the University of California. The University of California trains gardeners to become experts in gardening. And why do they do this? To encourage the public to build sustainable communities. Take a look at how they reach out to the public to make this venture possible.
Food and flower gardening are very popular. Approximately 1 in 3 households grow food either at home or in a community garden.
But do you have a proverbial brown thumb?
There's an organization of over 300 gardeners in Orange County who would love to help you. They are called Master Gardeners. In California, most counties have a Master Gardener program run by the University of California Cooperative Extension. Master Gardeners distribute evidence-based research from the UC system to the general public.
The wonderful thing about the Master Gardeners is they're very knowledgeable and very personable, and that is a unique quality in so many people. So it's great to have them out here engaging with the public, empowering the public how they can grow their own food at home, tackle any issues that they might have, and just not be overwhelmed with growing things and everything that goes along with that.
Master Gardeners are all volunteers helping Orange County's residents in a variety of ways. They help start local school and community gardens. Their Speakers Bureau provide free lectures and workshops on a wide variety of gardening topics. The staff boost throughout the Orange County Fair and other venues so people can walk up and ask questions. Master Gardeners also have an email hotline that answers thousands of gardening and related questions each year at no charge.
So I like the education part of it, getting educated. Getting exposed to experts is always a fantastic thing. We definitely had some great instructors during our training to become a Master Gardener.
In Orange County, 300 people apply to become Master Gardeners each year. Only about 30 applicants are admitted into the program. You don't need to be an expert. Master Gardeners provides extensive initial and continuous education as a part of being a Master Gardener. The love of gardening and helping others are key traits of Master Gardeners.
So as a Master Gardener, I teach some, for the B team of the Master Gardeners of Orange County, I teach some classes on to people that are interested in having bees in their backyard. So we run a class a couple of times a year, and I enjoy the education aspects of it. It's fulfilling as an individual and necessary as a community member.
If you'd like more information, you can visit the UCCE Master Gardeners of Orange County website at mgorange.ucanr.edu. If you have any gardening questions, email their hotline.
At the moment, Master Gardeners' public outreach has been paused because of California's shelter-in-place government order. However, you can still reach out to a Master Gardener via phone, email, or even Zoom. Their education events will continue as soon as the order has been lifted. Next, we will hear from two young filmmakers from Saddleback College. Donovan Suffel and Sydney Belangi are huge fans of the horror genre. They wrote, produced, and directed a short film called Locked, which Donovan starred in. Let's watch their interview brought to you by Kevin Shurka right now. Wake up, Danny.
Wake up, Danny. Wake up, Danny. Wake up, Danny. Wake up, Danny.
Locked is a drama horror film from directors Sydney Belangi and Donovan Suffel.
I love drama, I love horror. Like, my mom is a huge horror film junkie, so that's what I grew up with. I think horror films are just great, even as for filmmakers that are just starting out.
Well, we both really like Japanese horror, so we're just like, let's make it look like the Grudge type character.
The film also drawing on their own experiences.
I think my favorite scene is the beginning with young Danny when the monster comes in, because that was based off a personal experience of mine of sleep paralysis. So it was kind of surreal to see that on screen. I think young Danny did a great job capturing what I wanted. And the monster, Connor Fitzgerald, like, I feel he hardly needed like any directing, like he just got it.
Their unique working relationship, not just co-directors, as Donovan also stars in the lead role of Danny.
I had a really good experience directing Donovan.
She really helped with bringing out the best performance in me. So, because I can't see how I look on camera, and she would be there on tap looking at me and be like, oh, maybe you should try this. Like, all right, I'll improve on that aspect of my performance.
I'm really happy this was a co-directing experience, because I don't think I would have been able to do it all by myself, because it was a lot, especially this film in particular. Like, obviously, Donovan ended up having to play the main character, which wasn't planned, but ended up working out.
This decision allowed the younger version of this character to be played by someone who would look the part.
My younger brother, because we couldn't find any actors to play the main character and then the younger version of that character, so literally casted me and then my younger brother to do it.
Suffolk praised his colleagues for accomplishing the look of the film.
I think my favorite scene to do is probably the void scene. The amount of time it took and like the utilization of the space was just like, I was so surprised that we got it and it looked as good as it did in the film, because it could have been totally messed up. But luckily our editor, Byron, he spent hours upon hours masking out and like keying out C-stands and like all this stuff that could be seen to make it look the way it looks. If we could redo it and like learning from that past experience, we could probably do it better, but just from how it is now, I'm totally happy with it. It's like one of my favorite parts of the whole short.
Yeah, and the void, I think he looks scarier in that scene than in the beginning.
He's super low-key lit.
Donovan and Sydney are enthusiastic about growing as filmmakers.
I want to be a DP, so when I found out that they don't really, that's like the way they shoot their sets, like I said, I want to experiment with that. So, and I definitely want to do more research on just like international cinemas. It sort of just broadened my perspective on film.
I do audio work, I do G&E work, camera work. In the end, I want to be a really well-known director. I have a lot of stories I want to tell.
These two are making their filmmaking dreams come true. You can see Sydney and Donovan's film Locked at the Newport Beach Film Festival in August. We randomly asked students on Saddleback campus where they are from and how they like it here. Most students are from this area, but we did meet a few from other countries. Take a look.
Mission Viejo.
I'm from Laguna Hills.
Liso Viejo.
Laguna Hills.
I'm from Ladera Ranch.
I'm from Mission Viejo, and I didn't live here all my whole life. I actually lived in Lakewood, Long Beach. That's like where I grew up.
I was born in Huntington, but I've lived in San Clemente like since I was 1.
I am from Temecula, California, and Pasadena.
Lake Elsinore, California.
Yeah, I'm from the Bishanga Band of Luciano Mission Indians Reservation, located in Temecula.
I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm from New Jersey.
I'm originally from Orlando, Florida.
I'm from Iran. I've been here since 79.
I was born in Singapore and I lived in LA until I was like 8.
I was born in the Philippines and then I came here when I was 7 years old.
So you can't really compare it. Here is a lot more laid back and like slow paced, but my style. I like it here.
The beaches are cool. Laguna Beach is a nice spot, especially during the summer, but when it's cold, probably stay inside.
Actually, it's more or less been the same for me, so not much difference.
Mostly weather-wise, the weather's a lot different, obviously, because like humidity and heat and stuff, but otherwise, it's just very nice people, both places, so yeah.
It's much nicer out here compared to Lake Elsinore.
It's really nice.
I hate it.
Why?
There's nothing to do.
I do like it here. I think it's really pretty. It's nice, pretty safe. So yeah.
I like California. It's cool. There's a lot of cool action sports that go along with it. You know, I come from the BMX and skate culture, so it's pretty fun out here.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a hard question. I mean, the weather, for one, is a lot different. Like in New Jersey, it's 30 degrees right now, and here it's obviously very nice. It's about 65 degrees. That's like my favorite aspect of California opposed to New Jersey. And the people are a lot nicer here.
I like it better here than LA. It has a lot of trees and yeah, the air is nice.
I say it's quite different. It's very different because like the environment and like the learning and stuff, it's very different since you all speak different languages. So here we speak English and then there we speak in Tagalog. Yeah.
I don't know any better areas off the top of my head.
It's beautiful, you know. Some of my family actually live out here, most of them, and it's just, I don't know. I like the way it looks around here, the pine trees and stuff. I like the people, you know, very friendly, and you know, it is a little overpopulated, but other than that, it's a lot of fun, honestly.
Cities in Orange County have hundreds of parks and trails. So the next time you think there is nothing to do, like a couple of students on this video, check out ocgov.com to find a park, trail, or even a beach to visit. American students are stranded all over the world due to international travel restrictions. But what about tourists who are stranded here? One tourist in Orange County did not return to his home country before the travel restrictions were made, and he is still here. Here is his story.
This is my cousin Giampiero. Giampiero is from Italy. He's been on vacation in the US for 6 months now and can't go home due to COVID-19.
My cousin Giampiero to the airport to fly back to Italy, but he had to come back home with us because his flights were canceled. And that's when I realized that it was just crazy. Felt like we were in a movie. Thousands of people, have died already because of this virus, and we have to stay at home.
They told him it was a possibility that he could find a flight at the beginning of May. If not, he would have to wait here until things were to settle down, not only in the US, but in Italy as well.
C'è un po' di preoccupazione, sì, perché comunque in Italia l'assistenza sanitaria è gratuita per tutti gli esseri umani ed aspetto di qui. Mi sentirei sì più al sicuro nel mio paese, anche se fondamentalmente con questo virus stiamo vedendo che si è soli, perché non si può stare nemmeno vicino ai propri cari. Che finalmente la natura si sta ribellando alla nostra supremazia sulla Terra e sì, sarà drammatico per molte famiglie che perderanno persone care, ma forse ci renderemo finalmente conto che non siamo immortali come pensiamo di essere, o che perlomeno le nostre religioni ci fanno credere di essere.
Not being able to go back to his country is hard enough, but not being able to hug his friends, his family, is even harder. As soon as he gets home, he can't wait to see them.
Stanno tutti bene per fortuna e sì, li sento spesso e ovviamente mi mancano.
As of right now, Giampiero is staying with my family in San Diego. He doesn't know if he's gonna get a flight at the beginning of May due to the circumstances, but he hopes to so he can get back home.
The US CDC states that any travel, even local travel, increases your risk of getting the virus. While no one is certain when the disease will dissipate and travel restrictions will be lifted, people are hoping they will be able to return to their homes as early as May. Good luck, Jean-Pierre, and I wish you a safe return home. Our next guest is a musician from Iran. He plays flamenco and classic guitar. His name is Dariush Kajanuri. Take a look. Dariush has made quite a few albums. You can find them on YouTube and Apple Music. Not only is Dariush a performer, he teaches guitar right here in Orange County. That's all we have time for today. It has been an exciting season of The Scoop. I am your host, Sarah Stevens. See you back next week for our 4th and final episode. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.